Hello. Um, I've had a couple of topics on my mind lately and figured why not go over them because they're things that I've kind of worked on and have helped me out, and maybe they will help somebody else out. The two topics I want to talk about are self advocating and support. The first one, both these topics came about during a great conversation with a very good friend of mine. A friend came down here to visit me in rehab, pop in for a couple minutes, ended up staying 3 hours. And is a very good friend. We think a lot alike. Our kind of problem solving methods are very similar and everything. So she's a very good person to talk to for me to sort through things and everything. And one of the situations I was in is from the falls I had had in the hospital. I was in a ton of fear, just very afraid to try things um, for fear that I was going to fall and get hurt again. Uh, got here to the rehab facility, and my two physical therapy people are absolutely wonderful and great. Um, and again, their job is to push, is to get you out of your comfort zone and to do things that are going to make you better. Well, that coupled with all the fear I had just wasn't working. It was a big deal. And, as people who know me understand, I can be quite stubborn, especially when my mind's locked into something. Well, sitting and talking with this friend, you know, it, it, it was very good for me because it was a lot of questions of, what part of it are you afraid of? And, what part of it are you not afraid of? And things like that. And after our conversation, I decided I would go have kind of a sit down meeting with my physical therapy people and do a little advocating for myself. So that Monday came, physical therapy comes in, and basically I said to them, listen, here's where I'm at. Here's what I'm afraid of. And not, this isn't something I would ever recommend doing with any kind of attitude or anger. Just good, honest, open discussion. And fortunately for me, the two of them are the kind of people that would listen and go into it with an open mind. And, I laid right out on the carpet, what my fears are, what gets stuck in my head that I felt was preventing my progress and everything. Um, Again, like every situation, they came back at me with good conversation, with questions, insight on my situation and everything. And we kind of came to a little bit of an agreement of, yeah, we're going to get to this, but I feel we need to focus on this first to build the confidence and eliminate the fear to get through what I need to get through. And pretty much ever since that conversation, my physical therapy turned around, 150%. And I felt like we made the most progress out of anything we've done. Um, and it worked. And looking back on it, I can only imagine if I hadn't have taken that time to kind of speak up for myself and advocate for myself, how much further behind I would be right now. Um, on a similar topic, my wife, she has dealt with some medical issues for years now. And quite honestly, would always, whenever she'd go to a doctor or anything, would kind of get, to put it bluntly, like patted on the head, like, a puppy, and told, well, that really can't be, or you can't have that, or you can't feel that, or any of that, and sent on her way. Um, and it took, literally years for her to finally find the right person who would actually sit and listen to what she had to say and investigate into it deeper. And they found issues and they've worked on the issues, and she's improving drastically. Um, I just kind of look at all that as, you know, this body that we're in, I've been in this body of mine for 53 years. I'm not a medical doctor. I'm not a psychologist. I'm not any of that, but I know my way around it pretty damn good. Um, More so than the person that you see for 15 minutes once every 6 months. So I guess my take on all this came down to, um, you know, advocate for yourself because you know yourself better than anyone. Um, so again, do it, intelligently. Put some thought into it. Think about what you're going to say. Think about, how you want it to go. You can't just go in and be like, I don't like this, period. Well, that's not a solution. That's a statement. So, you know, put your thoughts together, work through it. Um, again, this friend of mine that I had the conversation with was great because at no point did she try to tell me what to do. It was more, what do you think you need? What do and in the end, what do you think you should do? And then kind of got yeah, I think you've got a handle on it. I think you know what you need to do. And I think it sounds good. And that was so huge. That made such a difference in my recovery. Um, so again, you know, stand up for yourself, advocate for yourself. Um, Nobody knows you better than you. Um, and that's just the way it is. If you've lived in the same house for 40 years, pretty sure you know where all the light switches are. An electrician may walk in and say, no, no, that switch can't be over there. Nobody would ever put it over there. Well, it's there. I've lived here 40 years. I know. So kind of keep that mindset. On that same kind of topic, and came out of the same conversation with this friend of mine, really made me thinking about support. And through this entire journey, I have been so blessed with the amount of support I've received from family, friends, coworkers, everybody. It's been incredible, and I couldn't be at the point I'm at now without it. But I have found, and I hesitate to even say this because I don't want to sound ungrateful or anything. That's not at all my intent. I'm so blessed with the support I've received. But if you're in the role of being a supporter, a few things to think about. Um, if the person you're there to support is still telling their tale and their story, and you feel you have the solution to it, and interrupt and give your solution, that's not supporting. That's giving advice. To me, the person who's truly supportive is the one that sits and asks the questions. What do you think? How do you feel? Things like that. Because again, through that same conversation, it led me to kind of, in my own head, work some things out and to finally be able to vocalize, what is holding you back? Things like that. In my opinion, and again, this is 100% my opinion, and this is not a shot at anybody or a slight at anybody. If support begins with, well, you should, or you have to, or you need to do this, to me, that does not fall into the category of support. It falls into the category of advice. And if someone flat out, says, hey, I need advice on what to do here, great. That's being supportive in that situation. But, in my own situation, I've never asked for advice. I've never said, what do I need to do? Because one way or another in my head, I've pretty much known what I need to do. Just needed to get through the exhaustion, the pain, the emotional end of it and everything to get what I need to do straight in my head and put it into play. So, that's the other part of this that I want to put out there. And again, absolutely no slight to anyone because I have had just beyond incredible amounts of support. But just, something to keep in mind if you are in the role of the supporter is that sometimes the best way to support is to let the person you're helping sort through it on their own and just kind of work with them. And, even if they're leading questions, because again, I fully know, my head was in such a dark place that I wasn't necessarily as rational as I need to be. So again, even if they're kind of leading questions, I personally, and this may be something that's just because of my personality type and who I am, but I personally find that on the receiving end of that, it is way more effective to have someone listen first and then ask questions and not just instantly say, I know what's the best for you. You have to do this, and then everything will be peaches. Because number one, it won't be. If you have a problem, takes time. There's things to work through, things to work out. And the other thing being that for myself, where I kind of felt like, whether I did or not, where I kind of felt like I came into these revelations on my own, it instills a sense of ownership and pride. And I think those are a huge part of coming out of a situation like I've been in. Um, so yeah, those I just wanted to put my opinions out on those. Again, they are just that. They're strictly my opinion. They may not work for anybody else. They may not work for everybody else. You know, again, I thank everyone so much for all the help and support we've received. And just wanted to kind of get all that out there. Have a great day.